Oops, shoot. Hi guys. Apparently I've lost my notes momentarily for this section. Hold on. But this is section 8.4 micros. And there we go. So this is section 8.4. All right. Remember back when, maybe chapter 2. Remember when we have just the inequalities, less than or greater than, it's an open circle. But now we are going to use these parentheses to indicate that. And the less than or equal to or greater than or equal to is that closed circle, or now what we're going to call these hard brackets. Okay, so we are using these brackets and those parentheses, no longer the open circle or closed circle. Okay, so here, a refresher, remember, how do we graph x is less than 2? Well, we go over to 2. This is an open, but we're no longer going to use open, we're going to use parentheses. So here we're going to come in and do our soft parentheses and go to the less than direction. Okay. It's also going to ask you for things like interval notation. So that means, where does it start? Well, how far to the left is my arrow going to go? And the answer is it's going to go on forever, and that's forever in the negative direction, which we call infinity. So we're going to call that negative infinity, comma. And how far do we go? Well, we can go up to 2. Do we actually get to 2? No, we do not. So we need to use a soft bracket rather than the hard brackets for that. And we can never, ever get to infinity. So an infinity sign is always used with parentheses, never with a hard bracket. You're going to be asked to find the domain and range of a function that looks like this. Okay, so remember, domain's the x value. So how far over here to the left does my graph go? Well, as you can see, that arrow tells you you're going on forever to the left. So that means I'm going to start at negative infinity. And I'm going to go and I'm going to come look here, and it keeps on going all the way over to the right. So that is positive infinity. Again, those soft brackets. Now I'm going to go to my range, which is my y values. So how far down does this graph go? And if I could draw really well, that would meet right down here, okay, and would actually hit that point 0. So I get to use the hard bracket. Okay, after the 0, now I'm going to say, how far up does my graph go? How high do I go? Well, those arrows tell me I keep going on forever, and therefore it goes on to infinity. So I would have something that looks like this. Oh, well, hold on. My notes have something slightly different than that graph. Similar, very similar. Okay. So this is what they call an absolute value equation, where, again, we're going to be asked to find the domain and range. So domain, again, is my x values. So how far over does this go to the left? Well, that arrow tells you it's going to go forever. So it's going to be negative infinity. And then let's look at this one. All right. And it keeps going to the right. So I exist here, exist here, exist here, exist here, and it keeps on going. If you could go up forever, it would go on forever. So it goes from negative infinity to positive infinity. Range is my y values. So how far down does this graph go? So I'm coming down, 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 stop, I start going back up. So what's my lowest point? That lowest point there, again, is 0. And then how far up do I go? Does this side go up higher than this side? Not really. They both go up just as high, and they go up forever to infinity. All right, let's look at another graph. All right, let's see here. Okay, domain again is your x values. So how far to the left? Well, like, let's go. There should be little arrows on the graph, which I didn't put. Okay, how far does this go over to the left? Well, that goes on forever. It goes to negative infinity. Okay, well, let's follow this again. How far does it go to the right? Ooh, that arrow tells me it goes on forever to the right. So it's from negative infinity to positive infinity. What about my range? How far down does this go? Does this go down further on this side than this side? No, not really, because they both go down to negative infinity. Okay, how far up does this go? I plateau. I don't seem to be going any higher than right here. And that value there is 2, and I actually hit 2. So I'm going from negative infinity to 2. All right, so my range is from negative infinity to 2. And because I actually get to 2, I have to use that hard bracket. I can never get to negative infinity or positive infinity, so again, that's the soft bracket. All right, this is what we call a piecewise function. Many of you are not going to like them, but they're no big deal. You read them about the same. How far to the left does this go? Well, it goes, it keeps going to negative infinity. How about over here to the right? Yes, it's going down, but it's still going over in the x direction, so that just goes on to positive infinity. What about my range? How far down? Does this graph go down further than this one? No, they both go down to negative infinity. All right, how far up do I go? This one only goes to, say, -1, but this goes up to +2. There is no break here. That is an open hole right there on the y-axis, and this is a closed hole. So I always have a value of y existing everywhere if I do a horizontal line. Okay, so I always have a y value existing. So I go all the way up to 2, and that's where I stop. Okay, so my range is from negative infinity to 2. What about this one? What's my domain here? Okay, again, you're going to read the graph. How far to the left does this go? Well, lo and behold, it goes to negative infinity. How far right does it go? It goes and it goes and it goes and it stops. And the x value there is 0. So it stops there. What about my range? All right, well, how far down does this go? This arrow says it's going to kind of continue. It's not going to go down very fast as it's going to go over, but it's going to still continue to go down. Therefore, it'll make it negative infinity. And then let's go, how high up does this go? Well, it goes and it goes and it goes. And how high is that? Well, that's -2. And I actually reach it because that's a closed circle. So that means it's going to be a hard bracket. That's the end of this particular lesson. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Email me, ask me in class.